Right, hello everyone. So we're going to do our weekly update for our Kickstarter. And this week we got a few questions, so we're going to start with those.
Any chance to get a discount on the other fantasy packs you've already made in conjunction with our pledge, either a code or suitable increase to get it?
Fantasy packs are currently available on the Arkenforge store on arkenforge.com, and if you get them in a bundle, they are already discounted.
This is a very sci-fi focused Kickstarter, so we don't want to start muddying the waters by bringing fantasy into it as well. Beyond that, I was looking at Dungeon Alchemist Kickstarter and was wondering if it would be possible to have randomly generated maps. Give it some key criteria and it spits out something you can tweak. Sometimes you just want a street corner and anything will do. Dungeon Alchemist is, first off, pretty cool. Definitely check them out. So it's a tool that's been designed from the ground up for this sort of procedural map generation. They've got some solid AI stuff in the background that does that. We do not have that, and it would take quite a while to build it up. One day we want to get to that level of procedural generation, but it's definitely not something that's going to be out either for the first update we're doing for you guys or probably in the next year or two.
One thing that could possibly help you in our product though is the pre-built modular sets, which you can just place on the maps and then you can edit them and rearrange them at your leisure. So it's not like you would need to build everything from the ground up from scratch. But yeah, it's not automatized and it's not always different like it is with Dungeon Alchemist.
Also, another question, is there a trace tool of some kind? Sometimes a map is bundled with an adventure and of pretty poor quality. Would be nice to keep the same structure and follow the general floor plan, but have it translucent over the map you're making.
There are a couple of ways you can already do this in the Master's Toolkit. Fortunately, one of the things that you can do is set transparency to any sort of image that you bring in, even your maps, and then trace over them. Or you can just send them to a lower layer than your actual objects, and you are able to just furnish those rooms and then finish off with the walls. So yeah, happy to report that we can already do that.
Thanks to Google Trad for its translation. That's right, the question is fine in English anyway. Export in PNG or JPEG and WebM video MP4. Is it or will it be possible? Talk about the compatibility of your formats with the majority of VTT. Does that also include Let's Roll?
We already have MP4, JPEG, and PDF export option, and then file formats like WebM. It is on our radar, but it is not in our workflow yet. So sometime in the future it will release.
We also have export options for Universal VTT. We're building a Foundry-specific module so that you'll be able to bring in video maps with the line of sight and everything built in. And that'll also include Let's Roll for your question because they'll be supporting Universal VTT, we've been told. I'm curious about what is in the base of the Master's Toolkit, as I'm wanting to purchase the toolkit before this releases so I can have experience with it, but was unsure what exactly is included when you purchase the Master's Toolkit.
So probably our product page gives you a better indication, but also just if you scroll to the very bottom of the Kickstarter page, it does explain what features are ready and what are coming for the Master's Toolkit. But basically you get a full-fledged map builder module, you get an audio module, the soundscapes, and a note-taking module, which is the encyclopedia. The toolkit can be trialed out for free on arkenforge.com, but just be mindful that the trial is a very different experience to what you are going to be getting in April.
There's a lot of new stuff coming. Here we have one of our fancy sci-fi maps. This is the interior of a ship. It's got our fancy corridors and nice... you're locked. A nice desk, chair, some good computers, a lot of lighting going on. Nice animated radar dish. Pretty solid. Alright, so I'm doing a lot of cartographer work this week, mainly in getting rid of our object wheel and finally just upgrading to the new system. So right now, if we want to move something, we can just click and drag it. We don't have to worry about our move, rotate, and scale UIs. We don't have the new rotate and scaling yet. That's what we're working on right now. But it's coming along very nicely. We've also got our content properties panel. So if we click on this guy again, bring up our panel, the icon for this will be changed in the near future. And we can get the location of it. We can get its actual position. So if we want to change it, we can. And we can get really precise. So We can get to like very low precisions if we want to do really minute adjustments. And set our rotation. We can now do individual X and Y scales, so if we want it to be stretched in one axis, it can be, which is pretty nifty. And then, yeah, all your layering info, what layer it's on, whether it's hidden or locked or has a drop shadow, all that sort of thing. So everything you can control on the object will be available in this properties panel. So it's a lot more convenient now if you need to go in and do any like super fine editing. I don't know if we've shown off the effects yet, but we can. So we've added in our effects system. So we can do shaking, rotation, and floating. So we can adjust our intensity as well. If you just want a nice gentle float. Gets a bit wonky once you're moving it around, but it's pretty nifty. That's how we're looking at the moment. Everything's been a lot more optimized, so everything just instantly selects. There's not really any lag anymore when we're moving things around, and that's all looking pretty darn solid.
You guys pushed us over the edge of the $50,000 stretch goal, so you're going to get double audio with all of the packs that you're getting. That means 40 songs and a myriad of sound effects, like we're talking 4 digits here. So very excited about that, and also have PTSD about it. But it's going to be fun. And we're going to have a $100,000 stretch goal, which we're just going to show you a little teeny weeny teaser for.
Little did they know that the end of days was upon them. With a loud bang, the wizard summoned a fireball, which he threw at the rain.
Alrighty, so thank you so much for the questions. If you have any more, please just drop it down on our Kickstarter or write to us an email at info@arkandforge.com. We see you next week with a new update.
Catch you then.